Okay. Maybe we shall explore the topographical frames and geological frames which I have created earlier, so that to note the dimensions. I think you should note them down. You can note them down.
You should note them down.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you see the screen that I'm sharing right now? The top frame, this frame is a topographical frame.
Mm-hmm.
And properties that are, for example, the position of this frame.
Yes.
I think we should turn off your microphone, because the sound is repeating again and again.
Oh.
Just for some few minutes. The position from the anchor point shown here. Do you see my cursor?
Mm-hmm.
The anchor point is at the bottom. Bottom here, and not at
anchor
the top.
Point.
Yes, anchor point.
What when you say anchor point?
Do you see the squares which are turning blue? These ones,
yeah,
are the anchor points, and the numbers are changing at y and x. So the anchor point at the bottom is where we reference this frame.
Okay.
So the position, I think you should note down the positions y and x. Position of y from the left edge of this standard A3 paper size is 25 millimeters.
Mm-hmm.
And the position from the bottom, can you see my cursor? Is 153.5. So if we change these values to, let's say, 297. 297 is the size, is the vertical dimension of the A3 paper. If we change this to this value, we see that the topographical frame has shifted to the top. Do you see that?
Yeah.
It is no longer there. But when we return it to 153.5 and we apply, it will return to its original position. So the size, also note down the size as 335 millimeters.
What size?
Width. The ones, the one which is highlighted in blue. 335 millimeters. And the height can be 128.5 millimeters. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Now we can shift to the element name. The element name is, as highlighted below here, it is called topographical frame. The name which we write here is the name which will appear on this position here. If we change it to any value, let's say we did the word frame and we apply. No, I think there is another setting for this.
Okay.
There is a different place to set that. Maybe let us shift to the geological frame. The dimension for geological frame is the same as that, but the position changes. We see that the geological frame is below the topographical frame. As usual, the anchor point which we reference is at the bottom. The element name is geological frame. Size is, height is what? 128.
Yeah.
128. Welcome, Lucas and Don.
Thank you.
There was a waiting room here, and I did not notice that you are. I did not admit those two people. Lucas, you can turn on your audio.
Nakusikia.
Okay. We started on topographical frame. The sizes are same as geological frame. We are now on geological frame. Geological frame has the same size as topographical frame for A3 standard paper size. I used 335 millimeters as the width of the topographical frame and geological frame, and the height of both of them is 128.5. You can note them down. If you wish to change those values, you can change them, but you should not exceed the size of the A3 paper size. And the position on X
Na wasiwasi watu wangezima mic zao hizo
Okay,
audio.
you can turn off your mic, please. The size of, I think we can all see these values. What is the width of this frame? It is 335 millimeters, and the height is 128.5 millimeters. These are the values which I used to create these frames, so that I can have a bold margin left on the right side, so that I can put the key, username, date, time, and the legend, thorough and scale. So maybe we can begin to create from scratch these things. We shall open a new. We can open a new document, ArcGIS document, new document. Okay. Let's open a new document here. Open new document, a blank document. the blank document has started directly on the data view. We have two views. It has started on the as default on the layout view. I think we can all see the layout view. We also have a data view here. Data view has no bounds, but the layout view has the bounds, as we can see here. So if we need to edit the layout view or to flip between the two views, you can also use the bottom left corner right here. I think we can all see the movement of the cursor. It is at below this ruler. Here is the data view, and on the right to the data view, it is the layout view. So on the layout view, we can select that middle portion and adjust its size. We can adjust it this way, or we can right click and check the properties. But this is not the standard paper size which we wanted. We can change it on this portion here, which is written as change layout. Sometimes these buttons may not be available. You should turn them on by right clicking on this blank space here and try to turn them on. I think this is, we can change it from here, from change layout. Here we have different types of templates. We have, the first one is my template, which is just a blank document. The second is architectural page sizes. The third one is ISO A page sizes. Then we should go direct to ISO A3 landscape. Can select landscape, then finish. And that is just a single frame. When we are in need of adding another frame, we should go to insert and click on where it is written data frame. It will automatically create a new data frame. But before creating a new data frame, we should adjust its sizes to meet the standard which we just discussed earlier. You can right click on this, properties, set the size to 25. The anchor point is at the bottom. Remember, the anchor point is at the bottom. So when we adjust the size of this as 335 and this as 128.5, we shall see that the frame changes to the dimension which we have set here. After that, let's try to input 297 so that the frame moves to the top of the page. Right now, the frame is at the top of the page, but we need to shift it down so that the margin on the top is 10 millimeters. So right here, we can use just simple mathematics to calculate, and can use simple mathematics to calculate the value we need to put there. What is going to be the value if the height is 128.5, or we can change the anchor point to, we can change the anchor point also. Let us try 128.5. When we change the value to 128.5, it is not, the top margin is not 10 millimeters. So when we add this to 138.5, it gets closer to the, it gets closer to be 10 millimeters. But we should be very certain with our values here. Calculating the actual value, I couldn't calculate it by my own head right now, so I went to take my calculator and find the appropriate value. And the appropriate value should be 297 over 2 minus 128.5. Oh my God. 297. Does anyone remember the y value? You can calculate, you can just write it on the charts. You can write the y value on the charts. It was 27.5. $153.5, okay. 153.5. I think it is okay. 153.5. Yes. 153.5 is okay. If our anchor point is at the top, so we are done with the topographical frame. We can also rename here the element as topographical frame and apply. We're also going to explore here the coordinate system later on after we start adding our shapefiles and other data which we can convert from KMZ to layer, which is acceptable to in this program ArcGIS. Also, we are going to set the rotation later on and the reference scale later. So now we need to add another frame here, which is going to be our geological frame. I think we can all see the new data frame. The default name is new data frame. We can also customize this to however we want this to be. Going to properties and size and position. Size and position. Does anyone recall the Y value of the geological frame? You can write it on the charts, the group charts. y value of the geological frame. Does anyone recall the y value of the geological frame? Don and Felista, do you recall the y value of the geological frame? Does anyone recall the y value of the geological frame? It was 10. Okay, thanks, Felista. It was 10. Yes, it is 10. So we are done setting these values, geological frame and topographical frame. So these values helps us to set these frames to as offsets from the top margin, bottom margin, and left margin, also the right margin. I think there's something is not okay with this topographical frame. Maybe we can shift it up a little bit. This let's try to see. Oh, it is not. I think this is satisfactory. So let's try to add some data to these frames. When you need to add data to geological frame, you should select the geological frame. And when you need to add data to topographical frame, you should select the topographical frame only. So let's try to add data, which is when we need to add a format like KMZ format. KMZ format requires to be added not by connecting folders to your ArcGIS catalog. The connect folder is right here. When you do not see this catalog, you can add it from here. ArcGIS catalog. You can add it from here, in the search toolbox you can also add it from here. So both of them can be on the same dialog box that we are going to add different forms of data. KMZ shapefiles with projection. Share. So here we're going direct to system toolbox and add it from conversion tool. At the conversion tool, we should select KM from KML, then open, then we browse where we located our alignment, railway alignment. So you browse, I think everyone knows where he or she will locate any file. So in our case it is Mwanza-Isaka, lot 5 KMZ. The output name is optional, but seems to have been used several times in this directory. So we can change it to any name, maybe 5, then maybe lot 5 SGR. Then the error triangle has disappeared because the name is not available in this directory. For today, we are going to save it to local disk C, user OneDrive document ArcGIS. That is my directory. Maybe you can use your different location to save these files. So just click OK. Oh, the process has failed. Let's try again. With a different name here. It will take several minutes to complete. While we are waiting for this to complete, we can also add we can also try to add it in geological frame too. We have selected geological frame here. So we're going to add data to the geological frame. But we're going to add it because we are adding a KMZ format which is not supported directly in this. And the only way to add the KMZ format is to convert it from KML to layer. I see it as we can add it. We can add it in the topographical frame by dragging it. I don't see a simple way to drag this. Maybe we should just do it manually again on the topographical frame here. Mwanza-Isaka, maybe 5 SGR. So I think we have we have the KMZ, which is Mwanza-Isaka, on both topographical and geological frame. Now the conversion is successful, but I think it is wise to rotate all the data.
Tesha,
Yeah.
you're not sharing your screen.
I'm not sharing my screen.
Yes, you don't.
Okay, is it okay now?
Wait a little bit. Yes, okay.
So we can now rotate this both data on topographical frame and geological frame. I think we should rotate it about what values? Some will say 90 degrees and some will say 270 degrees. We go to, we right click on the frame, on the particular frame after selecting it, and go direct to properties and then general, then right here, let's try with 90. If we use 90 and apply, it turns, it is rotated anti-clockwise by 90 degrees. And when we use 270, I think we should use this kind of rotation. And we should agree on this rotation of 270 degrees. We can also do this, repeat the same procedure on the geological frame. We can also use the same value, 270, on the geological frame to rotate the data, all data which we have, which we can import into this program. Now it is time to look for an appropriate scale it is time to look for an appropriate scale which can be used to fit this, to fit what we have plotted into our frames. So right on the topographical frame, let's try to